Hello.
Hello, I nearly did it again, actually. I had like my bottle in my hand and I'm like looking at the countdown coming down. It's like, no, don't do that.
So here we go. We are on Saturday morning, halfway between Keith Urban shows of London.
Yes. I went last night.
And I'm going tonight.
And Ian is going tonight. It was amazing. Hammersmith Apollo. I think the last time Event Im Apollo, I think is how it's officially titled now. I think the last gig I went to there was, I want to say Old Dominion.
Yeah, that's same as me.
And Jordan Davis supported. And yeah, I don't quite know. It was weird. Like it felt different inside venue, but Keith himself was like just off the scale as always. He's incredible, such a great entertainer. For me, there were kind of a couple of spells where he sort of talked a little bit, was a little bit too much sort of crowd interaction and things, and could have been a couple more songs in the set. But everything, the light show, the sound, the songs he was playing, just amazing. It just felt really full. Like obviously sold out gigs is always sold out and it is full.
Yeah, they were quick to add the second night, weren't they, on the ticket releases?
Yeah. So, but yeah, it just felt absolutely packed, and it's like I say, gigs I've been to there before haven't. It's not a venue I particularly like, which kind of it sounds like I don't like any venues in London, but just because I don't like the Green Note, and like I always sort of find with Hammersmith, it's a bit a nightmare to get to, and it's always hot, and I always find something else I don't like about it. But it's got the big sloping floor. It's sort of huge sort of space kind of on the floor. But yeah, Keith himself's absolutely fantastic. And if anyone's going tonight who's not been to see me out on this tour, you're massively in for a treat because it's incredible. He came on about 20 to 9, no support, and just sort of blasted all the way through. And it was just absolutely fantastic.
So that's not the only gig you've done this week, because you've also been at Ashley McBryde, haven't you, at the Roundhouse?
Yes, the Roundhouse is a venue I do like.
There is one.
On the flip side, I couldn't remember it being there, but it's amazing. It's like just the whole room, like the sound. It has a really cool you come in like. As you sort of enter the building, you go up the stairs. So the ground floor is kind of not on street level. It's like you look at the Roundhouse itself, which is a purely round room. There's kind of like a square building on the side where you come into. And yeah, it's a great venue. It's got a really cool smoking area as well, actually.
Priorities.
Massive priorities. And yeah, Ashley was fantastic. She had Austin Jenks open up for her, which was absolutely great to have him back over and stuff as well. And then yeah, Ashley, we've got a review sort of coming. We had Charlotte taking pictures for us as well. She was fantastic. Playing the tracks off. Her first 2 records. So you had the songs off Never Will, and then Girl Going Nowhere, and also we got a taste of 2 brand new tracks as well that look like they're going to be coming towards album/project 3 from Ashley. But she's just such a great warm storyteller, just always puts on a fantastic live show, full of energy, and I'm so glad she came back. It was the 6th time she's been over here now in 4 years. And when you bear in mind there was a pandemic for 2 years when nobody could tour, that's just incredible commitment, firstly from her, and also for the fact that people just want to keep coming to see her. So fantastic with Ashley. And then, for me, roll on next week for Brett Eldridge on Wednesday.
Tuesday, isn't it? Is it Tuesday or Wednesday?
I don't know.
I think it's Tuesday.
I think it is. Oh yeah, I've got my work team meal on Wednesday. Really,
Ashley McBryde's always come across as one of those who, I think she just comes across as quite humble, doesn't she? And actually appreciates.
She's awesome. She was the first. I've written this in my review piece, but she was the first person I ever saw on stage of anyone anywhere in Nashville, and also the first person I ever saw on mainland Europe. Because I went over to Amsterdam, kind of on the. It must be the last tour actually. And yeah, so we got to hang out with her in a bar afterwards, which was great fun. And she's amazing and such a nice person. So yeah.
So we've been building up this week's special guest for a couple of weeks now. So this week we're going to be catching up on the show with Brett Kissel. And we're at episode number 12. So I put to him the challenge this week of picking a number 12. So if you haven't been listening, each week we pick either a random or a superstar number 12 from the world of sports, so we can get a very loose sport link into the show. Obviously, for me being a Calgary Flames fan, him being a big Edmonton Oilers fan, you have the Battle of Alberta. So I put forward Jarome Iginla, who is Calgary's kind of all-time number 12. So we're now going to head over to Brett Kissel to see what he has to say about his number 12s.
Well, it's hard to beat Iginla, but I can say Tom Brady, is an extraordinary number 12. Another thing with number 12 is I play this game with my brother and a bunch of my friends about the Edmonton Oilers and going from 1 to 99 about number 12. And I think the only number 12 that I can really think of off the top of my head was a guy who only really had a cup of coffee in the NHL. He wasn't there for very long, named Robert Nilsson. But Iginla is one of those guys as a Flame that even though I would always cheer against the Flames, I would always cheer for Jarome Iginla because that guy is a class act, a 10 out of 10. I can't say enough good things about Jarome.
Okay, so Brett Kissel, just to recap there, he chose Robert Nilsson, who in the NHL played 252 games, 37 goals and 81 assists as his kind of random one. We had my pick of Jarome Iginla, who Brett did kind of agree with, for 1,554 games, 625 goals, 675 assists. Or finally, the number 12, I've got a feeling Jamie might agree with here, being Tom Brady, who so far, because he is still going, is 318 games, 624 touchdowns with a 7.5 yard average drive pass, sorry.
It's nuts when you look at Brady. The fact is, there's guys that have been I think the Bucks' first round draft pick wasn't even born when he made his NFL debut, which is nuts. My best sort of number 12 is sort of Spurs haven't got great ones. Real's the current one. But when we were sort of talking through before, I think just purely the fact of the "I love chicken, it's very good" tweet made famous by Victor Wanyama would sort of be, my random sort of Spurs offering on that. But yeah, 12. You can't compete with Brady though. Surely he's the GOAT. Just sport in general. The fact of how long he's been playing and he's still, still elite, still up there, and still as good as anybody else playing the game.
And it does show, because in that clip with Brett Kissel, it was generally about 2 seconds for him to get, when I said number 12, it was about 2 seconds for him to get Brady. So I think that does just kind of show just how he is the number 12 kind of thing as well, that everyone immediately knows his number.
Yeah.
Right. Shall we move on to some releases news?
Yes, releases news. There's been, I only really kind of listened to sort of two singles, and then there's been obviously the Midland album came out yesterday, so they brought out a brand new album yesterday, and I don't know if their tour started yet, but they're definitely due to be starting here very shortly.
It's starting because it's obviously 2 weeks, and they're in London. I want to say it's the 21st.
Yeah, because I'm speaking to Jess on Monday. So we're gonna have a chat with Midland kind of ahead of that tour. It's great because it's a tour they've tried to reschedule about 400,000 times, and it's
this is the commitment, isn't it? That they have not. You would think so many would have just given up, gone, no, we're not going there. Can't be bothered.
No, it's anymore. We are actually going to do this. We've been trying for about. It's not just a pandemic sort of postponement and cancellation. For one reason or another, they kept having to push it back. Kind of even before that, so it's finally going to be happening, and they've got new music to start it off with, which is great. And then also single wise, yesterday we had a new track out from Sycamore called "Dance in the Dark," which is amazing. I spoke to to her quite a few weeks ago. I want to say probably about a month ago.
It was about a month ago now, yeah. I think there's been a bit of delay with the single coming out.
So yeah, and the interview came out yesterday. That's an absolutely great track. What she sort of does with her sort of, you know, sound and style, and what she brings blending music together is super, super, super cool. So definitely check that out. And also a new single from another of my absolute favorite artists in Nashville. I think she's one of the most underrated and kind of under the radar sort of people. Her vocal is incredible. So Jaden Michaels has brought out her new single Gravity. If you've not come across Jaden before, you definitely need to. I discovered her at CMA 2019 for the first time. She's so nice. She's such, like I say, her voice is just so beautiful and easy to listen to. Also, she's the elder sister of Julia Michaels, who people may sort of know from collaborating with, you know, Clean Bandit and Keith Urban and such other people, and, you know, had, you know, a massive star in her own right. But Jaden's very different sort of vocally sounding to Little Sis. But Gravity, new track, absolutely love it. So get on that too.
So we've also got a new release from Austin Jenks. So that came out yesterday as well, River Jordan. So as Jamie said, he's currently on tour with Ashley McBryde across the UK. But then also for fans in Germany and Holland, he's heading there with Brett Eldridge after he finishes his UK tour next week. So he's kind of changing tour, but keeping on going this side. And then I think probably the big tour news that came out, I think it was Thursday, was from Kane Brown. So
he's coming over in January.
Yeah, so that's going to be kicking off January 2023 now. So he has announced, so he was last here maybe 2019, I think it might have been, back in 2019.
I didn't go to the gig. I think I think it was at the Forum.
I think it was a smaller venue than I thought he would probably do.
Yeah, it sold out in about 5 seconds.
Yeah,
and he didn't play any shows outside. It was just that one show in London.
No, it's literally one show. So this time he's got shows in Glasgow, Manchester, Birmingham, and then finishing off at Jamie's favourite venue, the Eventum Apollo.
But I say, my thought for it would be I definitely, for next time going to, but I'd want to be upstairs. I'd buy a ticket upstairs because it's just, I am getting old. It's like this whole sort of thing, the idea of I just want sort of space. But it's like normally, when you go, you know, in my global domination plan, obviously, you know, artists will play a structured approach to when they come to London. When you start off, you're playing a small venue, play a mirror because it's really, really nice and I like it. It's also very easy for me to get home from. It's never oversold. The bar's great, absolutely perfect. Then
talking about mirror quickly, that was the last time I saw Midland. I don't know if you were at that gig or not. That was probably the one time they've done a headline show in London before, and they basically, the end of the gig, they didn't really end the gig. They kind of stopped singing, left the stage, into the crowd, walked straight to the bar and ordered shots.
Fantastic.
And you're like, is the gig over now, I think? They're not coming back to stage, they're just getting hammered at the bar.
But yeah, so like I say, if once fans have kind of gone past, or not fans, like artists okay, we're too big for a mirror, then you look at, you're playing Shepherd's Bush Empire, amazing, still my favourite venue. Again, I like that you can go level 1, level 2, stand at the back, can get to the bar easy. You still get the great view. It's absolutely perfect. You probably get a better view around the sides and stuff there anyway. So yeah, still my favourite. I'm glad that Coco's reopened. I'm a big fan of Coco, have been for a long time. So delighted that that's venues open. Bizarrely, there and Shepherd Bush, 2 venues that have had problems with a roof, over the last 5 years. And were closed for spells. And yeah, then kind of from beyond there, it's why are people playing Hammersmith? Play Brixton. It's a better venue. It's a much better venue. The capacity is similar sort of size. It doesn't have the same chaos that it always seems to be for people queuing to go in. It genuinely looks like Spaghetti Junction. If you see the front of the Apollo when people are getting in, it's But yeah, so it's just a venue I've never really sort of. I remember I went and saw Kesha there, like kind of going sort of way back. She had LMFAO like opening, very bizarre sort of gig, and yeah, we were upstairs and it just was really really hot. Let's say it's just a venue it's never sort of agreed with me. Dirk Bentley played there going back as well, which was probably he got badly booked with that venue, like because they had to leave all the chairs in and things. But that was a great night because Dirk was fantastic, and me and my friends were doing shots and got quite drunk, so it was brilliant. But yeah, play nice venues in London. Amira, Lafayette, Coco, Roundhouse, massively approve of right now. I can't really remember like what the forum's like inside.
No, there's a few now I haven't been to in several years. I kind of forget. I get a lot confused between about 3 or 4. I always get confused as to which one it is. So about similar sizes, around that kind of 1,500, 2,000 capacity.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I'm more fine with the forum and the Roundhouse is I forget which station to get off at for which one. Like it's like which one's at Chalk Farm and which one's at the fact that Kentish Town Forum. It's not called the Kentish Town Forum anymore, but it's what it's always sort of been. But it's like it should make common sense. But it's like no, that'd be too easy. Like other tour news and things. Obviously, we said Kane Brown's coming back over. Jess and the Bandits finally coming back over as well. They were lost over back in 2019. Jess has been working on new music in Texas. So it'll be her first time, kind of obviously because they're a sort of US UK sort of based act. And so they're going to be coming back. They're touring. There's I think the London shows at Pizza Express. She's got like a festival date and things in there, but they're all at the end of the month. And going to be chatting to that Jess as well on Monday. So I've got a double dose of Jess on Monday afternoon. So we'll kind of have more about her tour coming up.
So yeah, plenty to look forward to. So we're going to kind of finish today with sort of 10 minutes now with Brett Kissel. So it's a great chat to him. We've been building this up for a couple of weeks now, finding all out about the track with 98 Degrees. So yeah, keep listening now and we'll head straight over. So Jamie's now about to get replaced by Brett Kissel. Over we go.
Howdy.
Good evening. Well, good afternoon.
Hey, how are you?
Not too bad. Yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you again, man. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. And I'm loving your Cabela's hat. That's perfect. You belong out in the country with me.
It's been a hugely busy start to this year, even though we're only a third of the way through. And you have your own radio show now.
Yeah. When Apple Music reached out in the fall of 2021 and said, we want to do something to shine a spotlight on Canadian country music. I think they really saw how well their international programming is doing. There's a wonderful program that the Shires do that I listen to on a regular basis in preparation for my show. And I loved it. And I was so grateful that Apple Music said, if anybody's going to be the host, it's got to be you. And I thought it was a great compliment.
So what's it been like moving into that hosting chair from being obviously on the other side of the interviews?
Well, great question. You know what? In some ways, it's not different. And in some ways, it's completely different because, of course, I'm the one asking the questions. And I think I have to learn to be a much better listener. But the reality is that I've got so many great friends in the business, and everybody that I've spoken to so far on our episodes, I have such a great connection with them. So it was much more of a conversation than it was having to do anything with, promoting a single or me trying to be a radio guy and hit specific points. And I also have a lot, and I mean a lot of behind the scenes knowledge of their journey or special moments or funny moments or things that they probably don't want me to say, but I can. And I love having kind of, that background information. I think makes it for a better show too.
Making it back to Europe though in about 6 weeks time or so now, I guess it is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, June 25th, Bulgaria Country Music Fest. And my good friend Franck Bouchereau is a great promoter from FRB Productions. And so he's got his finger on the pulse of a lot of really unique festivals. I've played his festival in Tours, France before, and now getting this chance to play Voguera is, well, I was supposed to play in 2020, and now I get the chance in 22. I can't wait. It's going to be great.
So with it being obviously cancelled, was it one of those shows you were kind of quick to get back in your calendar as soon as you kind of heard possible dates it was going to be?
Exactly. When you get a chance to play in Europe, and especially one of the most beautiful countries in the world, as far as I'm concerned, having been to Italy many times, I just love the opportunity to travel. So that's the most important thing for me, is to get a chance to go out there and travel to that part of the world again, and to bring my brand of country music and make new fans there. That's what it's all about. And that's one of the key things that I'm going to be focusing on in the next few years, is to not necessarily be concerned about budgets and be concerned about what my true return on dollar investment is going to be, and really double down more on the experience. And that's why I really want to come back to Buckle and Boots. That's why I really would love to play, maybe in Wales and Scotland and Ireland, and get a chance to play wherever anybody wants me in Europe, especially in a place I've never been before. I'm going to be saying yes a lot quicker than I ever did.
It's been a year since the record came out. A lot of the fans at the upcoming shows, it's going to be new music to them seeing it live. Is that feel a bit weird to you?
Unbelievably weird. And what a wild world we live in. And even back to, check this out. So the record before was called Now or Never. And I had songs Drink About Me, then She Drives Me Crazy, and A Few Good Stories to Tell. Well, what's very interesting is that She Drives Me Crazy and A Few Good Stories to Tell, those are two other songs that I also have barely played live, maybe once or twice. So those two songs, there's a whole version and portion of my set list that has not been performed live. And She Drives Me Crazy, A Few Good Stories, Make a Life Not a Living, Night in the Life, and now the new song with 98 Degrees called Ain't the Same. So that's, sometimes some artists only get 5 songs in their career, before they, move on from a record deal or realize music is not for them or whatever the reason may be. But sometimes you only get 5 songs. And I got 5 songs that I've never even played live. So this is a very unique.
You mentioned the new track with 98 Degrees. Obviously, they're not a band I was too familiar with, because they've only ever had one top 10 hit, which is way back with Mariah Carey. So they've been huge success looking through their discography in America. How did that come about, teaming up with them?
Well, their legacy in Canada and the United States is really special, and they're celebrating their 25th anniversary in the business this year. So there's a lot of very cool things that have come together, and I guess been manifested some way, somehow, to really all come to a head this year. And my manager, Jim Cressman, is very close to Jeff Timmons, who's one of the members of 98 Degrees. And when Jim had heard from Jeff through the grapevine that 98 Degrees was possibly considering doing a country record, what Jim had done is he sent my song that I wrote called Ain't the Same, and he sent that song to Jeff as consideration for their project. Now, these guys ended up declining the opportunity to do a full country record, but Jeff and Nick Lachey and Justin and Drew, they reached back out to Jim and said, "We still love the song. Do you think Brett would do it with us?" And we're like, "What? Yeah, of course." Like, that's the craziest question I've ever been asked. Like, absolutely. So the guys got in the studio, did their second verse, and sent it back to me. From the time they went in the studio and the time I got my first take, which is the same take that you hear on the recording right now today, I bet you that took 30 minutes for these guys. They're just one take wonders. And I love what they did to elevate this song. So
when you write a song, do you kind of have it in mind of a band could sing this, or a boy band could sing this, or a solo artist could sing this? Was that ever kind of in mind when writing it, or was it just originally going to be a song for you?
It kind of was. And I'm very creative in the songwriting process. Although songwriting, to be honest, is not really my favorite part of the business. I do it more in terms of a means to an end. But where I really enjoy is getting behind the song and what the song is going to do once it's out in the world, or what the song can become from a marketing angle, a publicity angle, how the fans will react. So for me, and Karen Kozowski, my co-writer, as well as Tim Nichols, the three of us, in the way that we stacked our original harmonies on that song, we felt there's a boy band feel to this. And of course, you throw out names like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees, New Kids on the Block, Boys to Men. You throw those out, but we never know what's going to materialize until I sent that song to Jim and I said, what do you think of this? And he immediately had sent it to 98 Degrees. So it's very interesting what you put out in the universe. The universe is always listening. So the next time I write a song, I'm going to have to just put it out in the universe that George Strait's going to hear it. And then George Strait and I are going to become friends, and we're going to go golfing and chase cattle together and tour together.
So was there ever any worry that when you teamed up for a boy band, you might have to get some dancing skills ready for a music video?
They could tell me, and a producer could tell me, Brett, you need to get some dancing skills ready. And I would say, good luck, I retire. I'm out. I can two-step. I can country dance, like I could polka. I can line dance to the Cadillac Ranch. But if you want me to do something suave and have swagger, like Nick Lachey, you are looking at the wrong guy. Like I have no swagger. I am the least cool guy you've ever met in your life. So if they're going to ask me to dance in the next music video or be like, hey, if we're going to play the song live, we need to get some dance moves. I'll be like, I'll just be the guy holding the guitar. You guys go ahead.
I did see in the music video you have conveniently got the guitar in hand.
Yes. And also because I need to look a little bit different and differentiate myself, because these guys are so handsome, and you spend 1 minute with Nick Lachey and you wind up getting lost in his eyes. And so for me, I'm like, okay, one of these things is not like the other. So I, proudly grab my guitar and sing. And I kept everybody joking around and stuff in the music video. Very unique music video. And I'm grateful that they all came down to LA and we filmed something so special.
And there wasn't even a white vest in sight in the music video either.
No, but my TikTok, I'm having some fun with my TikTok saying I'm going to join the boy band. So I dressed all in white the other day and posted that. And Nick Lachey did send me a text. He screenshotted it and he sent me a text with a fire emoji. So that's about as good a compliment as you can get.
Great to hear that you're obviously getting shows back out as well. I'm sure the fans are looking forward to it. So no, thank you so much. And I really appreciate it.
Thank you. No, the pleasure's all mine. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Brett Kissel for joining us this week. So it's always great to catch up for him. Obviously great to hear that there could be obviously a UK European tour coming next year. I'm still debating going to Bulgaria Festival in about 6 weeks' time. The flights are like £40. And
they're going up now.
They are going up. There was the flight about £20 at one point. So it's gone up to 40. And I was telling Brett this afterwards. And he was saying his flight's costing £1,000. So he's not happy that I was like, yeah, I can get a flight for 40 quid. So yeah, he was not too pleased about that compared to the price of the flight.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that there'd be at least two changeovers, I'd have thought.
From where you might be able to go direct now to Milan, because it's about an hour outside Milan, this festival.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Would Toronto to Milan or Rome be, a popular route? I don't know. Then to be fair, who'd have thought that London to Nashville would be a popular route that,
it works.
British Airways would eventually want to be doing that.
So the full interview will be typed up on the site later in the week as well. So that's kind of just a bit of a snippet of some of the best bits of the interview. But yeah, there will be a full detailed interview where, we talk about obviously his surprise that he kind of surprised fans by announcing the birth of a child before anyone kind of knew about it. We talk obviously more about the album that came out sort of a year ago now. And obviously he's not been able to perform songs from that either. So yeah, so it's a really good chat. So I'll make sure that's online this week as well. We've also got chats coming from Eric Pasley, say Sycamore's now up there. And we've got over another few artists over the coming days as well. So plenty to come this week.
Yep. And enjoy Keith if you are heading out tonight and things. It's a fantastic show. It's a really, really fantastic show. one of the best late shows I've ever seen. And yeah, it's, you know, just a lot of fun, and he's, you know, as good as ever. So it was really enjoyable Friday night.
So no, thank you very much for joining us, everybody, and we'll be back for episode unlucky number 13.
See you later.
Have a good one. Goodbye.